Okay, guys, after a quick technical break, we are back with Nick, Tasteless, Plott, and we are talking Starcraft, obviously. There's nothing else to talk about in the world, and the best topic ever. And we talked about the state of the games, Starcraft 2 and Starcraft 1, Brood War. We talked about the industry, and Tasteless gave us some insight on that. And also, let's talk about Remastered, Brood War Remastered. It's coming up, and I hope a lot of people are excited, like me, looking forward to play the game again. And I would like to ask you, Nick, how do you feel about the changes that they are trying to implement and the things that they are trying to maybe make better, or how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, like coming from like somebody who played StarCraft 1 in tournaments and had to practice, I think the fact that there's going to be matchmaking set up, oh my God, that's going to be so much better. Um, I think that well, I know because I talked to Blizzard, they're trying to be as true to the original as possible. I think coming up here, I get to go look at the game. I haven't actually seen it, so I'm excited about that. I am one of the people that is actually not, because I know that everybody's saying that they have to change the hotkeys. I'm actually against that, and I'm probably going to cause a shit show on the internet by saying this, but I don't think that they should be changing or make it so that you can change the hotkeys. Like, we're talking about like the most mechanically demanding game ever. Okay, the most mechanically. This is actually it's. I mean, if you haven't played StarCraft 1, queue it up and see how difficult it is to just get all your workers to mine and your scouting, and you have to hotkey every building. And that's why sometimes when you look at a StarCraft 1 game, it looks like it's kind of going slowly, but like if you were to stand behind somebody playing it, you'd be like, oh my God, they're doing so much shit. But I don't think you should be able to change the hotkeys, because if the game, we're talking about changing the keyboard layout for a game that sometimes takes up to 300 actions per minute. Like, that's a huge change. It's a huge fucking change. Like, if you're going to, you can't. And the thing is, what's weird for me about it is that like people are okay with like the Dragoon AI being buggy, which I agree, it should stay buggy. That would be too strong if the Dragoons moved cleanly. Or people seem to have become okay with the fact that you can't hotkey all the buildings, but it's like you're going to ignore the actual physical component of this and just keep everything else the same. And it's not like it's a preferential thing. Like, oh, well, then if you like the old hotkeys, you can keep them. It's like, no. Like, for instance, the fact that Terran have to go back to their barracks and manually, because you can't, do you know what a piano roll is? Have you ever heard this term? Like, a piano roll is like, if I have my, let's see, I'm going to go to my keyboard 1 second. So, like, my pinky's on the D key, my ring finger is on 4, middle finger on 5, index on 6 on the left hand. I can piano roll 4D, 5D, 6D to make Dragoons, right? Like, for instance, Terran can't do that. And if they could, considering how strong Terran can be in the early mid-game, just due to the location of the M key, by the way, you can try figuring out how to do that at home. And it's like, well, that's a little bit trickier. That makes, for instance, like hold position lurkers viable. I'm just worried that like if you change anything mechanically with the game in that regard, it could be damaging. And I really think that this game's like a piece of history. And maybe we should be careful. And also when people are saying like they wouldn't play the game if they couldn't change their hotkeys because it'd be too hard, I'm thinking, well, man, if that's the reason, like there's going to be a ton of other reasons you're not going to want to pick up the game besides the hotkey layout.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah,
you know, it's like if this is that's what turned you off, like the hardest game in the world, that's what turned you off. You couldn't get your fucking hotkey layout up. Like, give me a break, man. But so I'm opposed to that, but everything else that Blizzard's doing, I think they've got the right idea. I mean, I feel like since this thing's been announced, I've been, a lot of people are talking to me about, the remake. And the one thing I know from all the Brood War people that I still keep in touch with is they're kind of like, they're really going to change the hotkeys. They're like, so I could move the P key. I mean, even for me, like I play Protoss, right? P key is the key that's farthest away from the A key on the keyboard. The A key, attack key, that's the key you hit the most, right? Or it's like the most important thing to hit. It would help me to move the P key. It would actually make it easier for me to make a a manor pylon that blocks you in a PvP. But I am willing to like give that up for the safety of the game. And I think that people that are used to playing StarCraft 2 with the older hockey lad, I'm like, okay, that's fine, but this is a different game. We got StarCraft 2, we got StarCraft 1. They're both great games. I hate it when people pit them against each other. They're both great games. We should keep them the way they are, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's my attitude.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, coming from a Brood War background myself, I think what you are mentioning is important. It has an impact on the balance at the end of the day. It can.
I think there's no way you can say that doesn't impact. Yeah, there's no way you can say that wouldn't impact the gameplay.
Yeah.
And this is a game that like the everybody in esports speaks about with such reverence. By the way, people love StarCraft 2 and speak about that really highly. But this is just the original game that started stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you. I think it's when people kind of have this throwaway argument like, oh, we can get some new people to come on board, and we're just going to change part of the gameplay component. I'm like, man, I don't know. So, anyways, that's where I stand. I'm probably going to get shit on for that, but I don't care. I'm going to put that out there.
I think it's a valuable thought, so that's definitely good to hear. I wanted to ask you, but you actually answered that for me now through the way you talked about Brood War. I wanted to ask you about what you feel passionate regarding StarCraft 2. Like, what gets you excited in StarCraft 2 and what gets you excited in Brood War? I feel for Brood War, I picked it up now. It's like the detail of the hotkey and how passionate you got about it now already gives me an answer. But just quickly talking about StarCraft 2, thinking about it, what gets you really personally excited again with StarCraft 2?
I think for me, it's like I get to be part of a story where we get like the 32 best people in the world. By the way, we got a bunch of foreigners, man. This next GSL, a bunch of fucking foreigners qualified, so that's going to be good.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that. But I think for me, and you know, it's a different relationship with each game, right? Because I grew up with StarCraft 1. So that's like my childhood. And that's also how I learned. I was kind of like learn how to play video games with that, and like learn how to appreciate RTS. With StarCraft 2, I came to that, and I'm like, okay, I know how to play RTS. I know how this works. So now I get to instead of competing, I get to be I get to be the storyteller that tries to explain what these guys are doing. And I get to see the drama, and at this point in time, it's usually the same people, by the way, that I'm casting at GSL, for instance. It's usually the same people, right? So I'm very familiar with all these guys that are playing there and their play styles and everything. So that's like really cool that I get to be part of that and get to be part of the best StarCraft tournament in the world and tell that story. So that's what I get really excited about. And I'm doing a show with Dan, where I'm doing a show the way that I think, one thing about RTS people in general is that I always like to have like a good sense of humor. Like they're funny people, they're self-deprecating and they're witty. And so Dan and me try to do a show for like our people, like people that are like us, right? So I get excited doing something like that I think people that are like us are going to enjoy and have a good time. So yeah, I mean that's definitely where I get excited.
Nice. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, man, and I think at least myself, talking about myself, I picked that up a lot with you guys casting. So the passion is still there, and I think that gets me excited also again. Yeah. Okay, let's go to our third part and last part of the interview. I would like to talk with you a bit about you as a caster and a person. But obviously feel free to join in with any StarCraft related stuff again.
Okay.
It's always appreciated.
Let's do it, man. No problem.
So when I was doing some,
by the way, I don't know if like how much the audio in here. I'm sorry, my cat keeps meowing at me, and I'm like making tea and I'm vaping, so I don't know if this whole thing's going to be full of sound effects. So I'm sorry in advance, anybody, if there's a bunch of stuff going on in the background.
I think as far as I can see it's going fine. Yeah.
Regarding
also the audio, so I think that's totally cool.
Okay, cool.
Maybe let me just make a quick break here.
Yep.